Tragic developments. Ottawa police say a young boy has passed away after falling from a Sandy Hill apartment building. The second Ontario child to die in such a manner in less than 24 hours. Good afternoon. This is CTV News at 5. I'm Stefan, and we want to warn you that this newscast comes with several stories many may find upsetting. Right now, we begin in Ottawa's Sandy Hill neighborhood. That's where we're learning today that a boy found with critical injuries last night has died. Police say he fell from an apartment building on Laurier Avenue East. CTV's Dylan Dyson is here with more details. Dylan.
Yes, Stefan, a very sad and tragic outcome here as paramedics say the boy, younger than 8 years old, fell from a significant height yesterday evening and died earlier today. Police tape still marks the apparent location where the boy fell, around back of the apartment building at 50 Laurier Avenue East. Paramedics say the boy fell from an undisclosed height and was transported to hospital with life-threatening injuries, where he later died. Police have also not revealed the height from which the child fell, but say at this time there are no indications that this incident is suspicious in nature. Residents of the apartment building told me today that property management company Homestead issued notices it would be visiting each apartment to inspect and secure the windows.
It doesn't open more than this, and it's usually locked in like that, but people do manage to unlock it.
I don't know how someone could fall out because I don't know how the other rooms are set up. I only know my apartment. Like the window only cracks open a little bit, and there's how can you say it, like mesh separating it. So I'm surprised that someone actually did fall out.
CTV News contacted Homestead for comment but did not receive a response. Again, police say at this time they don't anticipate making any arrests, but police are asking parents of small children that live in high-rises and apartment buildings to ensure their windows and doors are secured. Stefan.
Right, CTV's Dylan Dyson reporting live for us. Thank you, Dylan. Sadly, this is the second Ontario child to die from an apartment building fall in less than 24 hours. A 6-year-old Toronto girl also lost her life after falling from an apartment building in that city's North York area Sunday night. The circumstances leading to her final moments remain under investigation. Breaking news out of Kingston. That's where police are looking for a suspect vehicle that is allegedly using a BB gun to hit pedestrians. So far, police confirm 2 pedestrians have been injured by airsoft gun pellets. Investigators tell CTV Ottawa the first incident happened during the lunch hour around 12:30 this afternoon. The second incident was reported mere minutes later and prompted officers in Kingston to issue a citywide safety alert. We'll have more on that a little later. In the meantime, Ottawa's suburban community of Barrhaven is grappling with a tragedy of its own. A mother is dead, her son accused of taking her life and attacking his grandmother. And today we are hearing from a grieving brother looking to honor the woman he called mom. CTV's Leah LaRock spoke with him earlier today. Leah, it's rare that a relative comes forward. Why was it so important for him to speak with us?
Stefan, Area Farahani says he wants to honor his mother's memory by speaking out. He said she was a woman who loved and was loved, and today he's recounting those moments when he learned his mother was stabbed to death, and the suspect in the stabbing is his younger brother. Farnaz Farahani was known to many as Nancy, but to her oldest son, Arya, she was simply Mom. Police were called to a house on Ashbourne Crescent just before 10 p.m. last Thursday. Inside, they found Farahani stabbed to death. Arya's grandmother, Nezhat Lashkari, was also stabbed and seriously injured. Arya says he has barely been able to sleep or eat since. He's also been taking calls from those who loved his mother and are wishing his grandmother a full recovery. She does remain in hospital.
The moment you met her, you knew her. It's just unapologetically loud and vibrant and loving, and she didn't care if you had anything or everything. It was just, she was yours to love.
Police have charged Party Shah, Arya's 30-year-old brother, with second-degree murder and attempted murder. Now, those charges against Shah have not been proven in court. Arya says he will be following the court case closely at the same time as he cares for his grandmother, as well as plans a celebration of life for his mother. Stefan.
CTV's Leah LaRocque reporting. Thank you for bringing us this update with compassion, Leah. We know today's stories can be unsettling. If you find yourself in a mental health crisis, the Distress Center of Ottawa and Region is there for you right around the clock. 613-238-3311 is the number to call. The National Suicide Crisis Helpline is 988. Turning to money matters of national and local importance, the Carney government now has 1 year of power under their belt and are releasing their spring fiscal update today. When it comes to the deficit, here's the 5-year snapshot, slightly smaller than the last update, more than $65 billion for 2026-2027, then expected to shrink to a little over $63 billion the following fiscal year. Covering 2028 and 2029, the deficit should be down to just shy of $58 billion, then shrink further to around $53 billion 5 years from now. Also of interest, less contributions to the Canadian pension plan, which sits at 9.9% right now. It will go down slightly to 9.5% on January 1st, which on a $70,000 salary will equal savings of $133 annually. And $6 billion is being earmarked to recruit, train, and hire somewhere between 80,000 and 100,000 skilled trades workers. Now, CTV's Austin Lee has just finished flipping through more than 160 pages about where we stand on the economy and joins us with the latest for Ottawa. Austin.
Well, no update today on job cuts to the federal public service or the impact of those job reductions. The federal government is expected to provide an update on that front in the next federal budget, which is going to be coming this fall. What is worth noting for our region, news that a new financial crime agency will be established and headquartered here in the capital. The initial plan was laid out in Budget 2025 with a bill to create the agency tabled just yesterday, but we now know where that will be headquartered, again, right here in the capital region. The agency will also have the authority to establish regional offices. It will be receiving more than $350 million over 5 years, starting in the next fiscal year, but there is still no indication of how many jobs that might create.
It's pretty significant in terms of new spending on the public service, I would say. It's nothing close to what we're seeing in terms of, for example, the GST tax cut in the billions of dollars, or this new Canada Strong fund it's going to get a lot of attention. But in terms of expansions to the public service, this is pretty noteworthy in the context of a lot of other departments actually shrinking right now.
Also mentioned in the spring economic update today, a funding extension for the Ottawa Police Service to the tune of $3 million per year for the next 5 years. That's an extension of funding that Ottawa Police had been calling for. Stefan.
Thank you, Austin. CTV's Austin Lee with what's in the fiscal update for Ottawa. But we also want to note new investments for Canadian sports, $755 million over 5 years. An update now, the driver charged in the hit-and-run death of an Ottawa crossing guard has pleaded guilty to one of the charges he's facing and not guilty to another. Xander Wright pleaded guilty this morning to failing to stop after an accident causing death, but not guilty to dangerous operation of a vehicle causing death. Peter Clark was struck by a vehicle while he was on duty in Barrhaven on March 23rd. Wright's lawyer says it will be up to the courts to decide whether Wright's driving by law was dangerous.
There's no question as to who did this. There's no question about the very tragic result, the death of Mr. Clark. There's no question that it was caused by Mr. Wright. The question will be was this particular pattern of driving enough in law to be considered dangerous?
Trial dates have not yet been set. Wright is back in court on May 8th. An investigation is underway following the death of an OPP officer who lost his life in a motorcycle crash on Highway 401 in Cobourg yesterday. Today, condolences are pouring in from across the country.
Honor guard! Attention!
A solemn and emotional police procession took place overnight as Sergeant Brandon Malcolm's body was taken to the Chief Coroner's office in Toronto. Dozens of police officers took part in the gut-wrenching moment for the officer being remembered as the big guy with a big heart.
His career goal was to become a police officer. He had been an auxiliary member with Toronto Police, a member of the Canadian Armed Forces, and in 2020 he joined the Ontario Provincial Police. He was living his best life as a police officer, a very proud member of our Golden Helmets, the Precision Motorcycle Team, a skilled motor officer, and doing an incredible job serving this province and dedicated to his community.
The single vehicle motorcycle crash happened eastbound on the 401 around 5:30 p.m. yesterday. The highway was closed in both directions between Highway 28 in Port Hope and Burnham Street North in Cobourg while a full investigation was conducted. Many Ottawa-bound drivers may have been delayed for hours by snarled traffic and detours. It reopened just after 4:30 this morning. Also of note, there was a separate collision involving two cruisers that took place as officers were responding to the call for one of their own. Ottawa firefighters are issuing a burn ban for our city, and it follows a recent brush fire. The ban was issued this morning. Even though there is rain in the forecast, the extended dry period has been of concern. The images being shown right now features a weekend grass fire that burnt more than an acre of land. This open-air fire ban applies to agricultural burns, brush pile burns, as well as campfires, even if you have a permit. Officials say there will be zero tolerance for violators. When it comes to the flood risk in our region, homeowners along the Ottawa River are being warned about a second peak with significant rainfall in the forecast. A rainfall warning from Environment Canada calls for 30 to 50 millimeters of rain starting Wednesday night, which could lead to pooling on roads and increased flooding risks. Our Jackie Perez will have more on that momentarily. Coming up on CTV News at 5, suspects at large. We go back to Kingston, where CTV's Katie Griffin is standing by live with an update on that city's safety alert. 2 people allegedly struck with pellets from a BB gun. Jackie.
Well, thanks so much, Stefan. Again, we did see a little bit of a light drizzle moving through Eastern Ontario for our Tuesday, but it isn't expected to last very long. That's reserved for tomorrow. Right now, temperatures across Eastern Ontario hovering between 16, 18 degrees. We've already started to see temperatures cool down around the valley. 12 degrees in Petawawa. Maniwaki sitting around 15 degrees. Overnight conditions, 11 degrees and cloudy skies. It is tomorrow, though, that we are going to anticipate heavy rainfall moving through, and this will happen in the late evening as well as 14 degrees, the anticipated daytime high, prompting a rainfall warning in effect for pretty much most of Eastern Ontario as well as parts of Quebec. We'll get a closer look at your long-term forecast and when we can anticipate the rain moving through in just a bit.
Thank you, Jackie. A live check on traffic right now. The 417 is seeing major slowdowns from Catherine to Moody. There is a collision in the westbound lanes near Bayshore. Eastbound is heavy from Isabella to Ennis, and the 174 eastbound is seeing moderate to heavy volume from the split to Montreal Road. You're watching CTV News at 5. Returning to breaking news out of Kingston right now. Police there have issued a safety alert for the area after 2 pedestrians were reportedly hit and injured by pellets coming from an airsoft gun just minutes apart. CTV's Katie Griffin is there and joins us live with everything we know so far. Katie.
Well, Stefan, it's been a real unsettling day the last couple of hours for people here in Kingston. This is one of the areas where those shots from that airsoft rifle were fired. It's quite a residential street. The other location not too far away from here. And as you mentioned, police have now released photos of a suspect vehicle wanted in connection with this investigation. It is a dark-colored Ford F-150. They say 4 people were inside that vehicle at the time when these shots were fired. They don't have any descriptions of the people, but they say one pedestrian was hit in the face around 12:30 this afternoon in the area of Russell and Patrick Street, where we are right now. And then about 5 minutes later on Palace Road near Park Street, someone else was hit several times. We don't have an update on their conditions, but they were sent to hospital. Here's more from police.
Anyone who's seen an airsoft lately knows that these guns now are manufactured to look identical to firearms. So if you brandish this to a member of the public, and that includes police officers, we don't know if it's a real firearm or not, and it's always treated as a real firearm first until we can determine that it's not.
And police believe these incidents are linked based on proximity, but they're not sure yet whether the people that were injured were targeted or if it was random. Again, police searching for that dark-colored F-150 pickup truck, and they're asking anyone with information to contact them. And if you see this vehicle, not to approach it, call 911 immediately. And also, they're looking for video surveillance. They're going through a lot of that right now to try to track down this vehicle and the people who were inside. Stefan?
CTV's Katie Griffin with a live update from Kingston. Thank you, Katie. Coming up, today marks a national day of mourning for workers killed on the job. An Ottawa mother speaks on losing her son. Coming up tonight on CTV following the 6 o'clock news, E-Talk starts at 7, then an episode of The Big Bang Theory. Will Trent at 8, RJ Decker at 9, and High Potential at 10. Time now for another check on the weather forecast. Jackie is live in studio tonight. And Jackie, it looks like our region has been upgraded from a special weather statement to a weather warning in the last hour.
That's right, Stefan. You can look at this board here. We've got a rainfall warning, not just for here in Eastern Ontario, but for parts of Quebec. So this is going to happen Wednesday evening into our Thursday morning, where we could see heavy, intense rainfall between 30 to 50 millimeters coming for our total rainfall. Here's a live look through our Centennial Glass Sky Cam, where temperatures sitting at 18 degrees right now. Cloudy skies, and as we can see, showcasing Parliament Hill and Sussex Drive. Here's a closer look at when we can anticipate the rain moving in. It's going to be clear skies for Wednesday morning, cloudy skies, but Wednesday by 3 p.m. we're going to start to see this weather system moving in. You can already see that yellow around Smiths Falls and Brockville. It's going to really pick up for the Kingston area, and Brockville around 5 p.m. may see a little bit of a break for Ottawa, but then a second round is going to come in around 8 p.m. and really move through, and that's when the significant amount of rainfall will be moving through into the early hours of Thursday morning. Again, we are keeping a very close eye on this. This could lead to potential flooding and heavier rainfall as well for parts of Eastern Ontario. Now, temperature-wise, we are still in double digits, but it will be in the cooler side. So cloudy conditions from 7 a.m. to about noon, 15 to 16 degrees, the anticipated daytime high, but around 4 or 5 p.m., that's when we're going to start to see the rain really pick up and accumulate into our Thursday morning. Now, as we look towards the valley, 12 degrees, the anticipated daytime high, and Seaway also very similar, 12 degrees, a chance of showers really moving in, but really picking up again in that late evening into our overnight Thursday. Taking a closer look at Thursday, as we look at the extended forecast, it will likely clear by 7 a.m., but we could see parts of some light showers moving in left over for Cornwall as well as the Hawkesbury area, so it might be a rainy commute, but for the most part for our Thursday, likely going to be mainly cloudy skies. Temperature-wise, we can see for the rest of the next several days, it's going to start to cool off. Thursday, Friday, 9 degrees, and by the time the weekend rolls around, 10 degrees as well.
Weather is brought to you by Manotick Tree, complete tree care from start to stump.
All right, Stefan, I hope you have your umbrella. Lots of rain moving through the region, especially in the later part of the evening. We're just asking everyone to stay cautious when they're out on the roads for tomorrow evening.
Definitely. You gave me the heads up yesterday, so I put the umbrella in the car so it's nearby. Thank you, Jackie.
Sounds good.
So in KFLNA, 1 in 4 families experiences food insecurity.
Coming up on CTV News at 5, getting creative with old cafeterias no longer being used. We'll tell you why in just a few minutes. Here's another live look through our Centennial Glass Sky Cam. Current temperature 18 degrees, and it's time now for a look ahead to CTV News at 6. Here's Patricia Bull.
Thanks, Steph. Here's what we're working on for 6 o'clock.
Like the window only cracks open a little bit, and there's how can you say it? Like mesh separating it. So I'm surprised that someone actually did fall out.
Ottawa police are investigating a young boy's death after he fell from a Sandy Hill apartment building. We'll have the latest from police and reaction from residents.
I do know one individual was struck in the face and that the second individual was struck more than once with a projectile.
We'll take you live to Kingston, where a safety alert has been issued. Police searching for suspects after 2 pedestrians were injured by airsoft pellets shot from a vehicle.
It's pretty significant in terms of new spending on the public service, I would say. It's nothing close to what we're seeing in terms of, for example, the GST tax cut in the billions of dollars.
Plus, what you need to know about how the government is spending and saving money. Carney's now majority government releases a spring fiscal update after 1 year in power. All of that and more coming up tonight on CTV News at 6. That's right after the early edition of CTV National News with Sandy Ronaldo at 5:30. Steph.
Thank you, Patricia. Now the final 5 other stories we're following today.
In an instant, my son's life was taken, and in that same instant, our family's life was changed forever.
Today is Canada's National Day of Mourning for workers killed or injured on the job. There was a ceremony at Ottawa's Vincent Massey Park. Among those who spoke, Jennifer Chenier, whose son Nick died on the job 2 years ago. He was electrocuted while trimming a hedge in Manotick.
So in KFLNA, 1 in 4 families experiences food insecurity.
As the challenge of food insecurity grows for many families, one group in Kingston is looking to help. The Food Sharing Project uses school cafeterias that have been dormant since the pandemic to cook up hot, nutritious meals to deliver to students who need them. The Food Sharing Project has been at it for decades, but this new initiative is an expansion of services.
Thank you, everybody. Congratulations.
OC Transpo hosted its annual award ceremony today. That's when employees get recognized for good deeds and safe driving milestones. Congrats to all those honored today.
This is the best of international sport. This is sport at the highest level, and this is what we want to see.
The world's top women's rugby teams return to Ottawa this fall for a rematch of the World Cup. On October 23rd, TD Place will host Canada's women's rugby teams versus top-ranked England. Canada's stature in women's rugby is growing. The team is ranked 3rd in the world. The PWHL is continuing to draw more fans. The league says more than 1.1 million fans attended 120 games this year. That's an average of 9,300 per game, up nearly 30% compared to last season, including the playoffs. It's also up 71% compared to the league's inaugural season. In-arena sales of merchandise also doubled this year. Meanwhile, YouTube viewership increased 77% this season, with people tuning in from 154 different countries. The Ottawa Charge will take over the Canadian Tire Centre for its games during their playoff run. That is CTV News at 5. Thank you so much for watching. The early edition of National starts now.